Hello, this is Victor. I'm here with a new type of video. Now that we are changing, I would say we're changing edition, or we go to a new Warhammer. I think what maybe was interesting to go through the different codexes, and I wanted to go to show you how Chaos have evolved over the time. So here in front of you have the second edition Codex of Chaos. This was the first Codex of Chaos that I have, and I think it's the first that they release. This is second edition, so it's the edition just after Rock Trader. So I want to show you, I have all the editions for Chaos Space Marines, I have almost all the editions for Chaos Demons, and what I want to show you is what you can find inside of each codex, and you will see how these have evolved. So this was the first codex I have. It's about, I think was 140 something pages, okay, and yeah, you see it's soft cover and was for second edition. So this codex was completely outdated when they changed to third edition, edition. Sorry. So we have, it's in Spanish, this one, because I bought when I was I was 18 years old, and was I was working playing in Spanish mainly, and of course I was living in Spain at the moment. So you see we have it's mainly black and white codex, okay, but we have a lot of fluff. And at that period of time I was not very interested in the fluff, I have to say, but here we see a lot of fluff about the different, we see the Iron Guardians, Alpha Legion, Night Lords. So we have all the different main legions. They called about the Eternal War between, so it was all the background we know. We also had here the Tyrant of Badab. So already we have, I guess, somewhere explained here that yeah, this is the Milestone Space Marines, and we have most likely Uron is mentioned here, but there was no miniature of Uron at the moment. So we also had the Marks of Chaos, and then we went to how was done in the past. So we have a short explanation of each how it's called this unit, no, or each type of Space Marine. So here we have Space Marines of Chaos, and inside we have the Paladin, the Great Paladin, and the, I guess it's the Exalted Paladin or something like that. So the different bosses. We also had the Veterans. We had these are the Sorcerers, and we have the Terminators and the Thousand Sons, Berserkers and Plague Marines and Noise Marines, okay. And this is a part that this is how they were painting in the 90s, as you can see here. So this was the paint jobs. This was what inspired my Alpha Legion, was inspired on this paint job here, okay. That you see it's quite different from the one that they do today. We also here Abaddon was released on second edition, as you can see. So here we have the same paint job, the first paint job on Abaddon together with the Terminators. These metal Terminators have been out there for long time, and you will see that they did conversion. So these Marines really, this Marine did not exist. This was really a conversion they put here. So there were several conversions all over the codex that they are just pushing. These were very old Berserkers. I really like this way to paint Berserkers here. So it was a book that already inspired. You see the Khan the Betrayer also from second edition. This funny Juggernaut from second edition as well. The Metal Dreadnought, or no, it's called Hellbrute. So we have here the Space Marines, how they were looking like. Okay, so you see. There were not too much miniatures, and this was mainly the full range, and this is a big conversion they did here for this Predator. I think you will see here. So they take a Great Unclean one and they glue it on the front, and then they did some postals. So there were a lot of conversions. This is Mephiston converted into. Mephiston is also a very old miniature, although does not look as outdated as some other. Fabius Billy is also very old miniature from second edition. So you can see here some of the miniatures did not change really. It's interesting, and this is another way where I was looking. So very chaotic. I really like this page, and here I was looking in detail how they are, because I was doing Alpha Legion, so I was looking really how they were painted here, and this was the source of my inspiration for the paint jobs for the Alpha Legend that I was doing. We see then a little bit of more fluff, and then they talk about the demons. So demons were included here, and we see that there is the Bloodthirster, the Blood Letters. So we have all the demons, so in very detail. So it was a Codex of Chaos. Okay, I think it's mentioned this Chaos. It's not Chaos Space Marines, it's Chaos in general. So we have also all the Chaos here. Okay, and then we have these were some rules and some psychic powers for the Chaos. So the rules for the Chaos. So you will see that we have the Gwab weapon, the Gwab cannon was from this period, and they say demons are not affected by Gwab weapons. So but we already have Gwab weapons on 2nd edition. I think they were quite devastating as well. I don't remember, to be fair. So here we have different objects that you gifts that you can give to the demons. We have some relics, and we have equipment. So it was really complete, and this was the typical profile of 2nd edition for the weapons. And remember, in that in 2nd edition there was the Vortex Grenade. Vortex Grenade was a template that was killing anything that was touched by the template. It was a grenade template. Was more or less I think it's the small template that we had in 7th, and everything touched by the vortex was killed. So yeah, there was a lot of fluff and explanation. So really, you see, until here there was not rules indeed. Here there were some rules, and then we have how the exercise was. The exercise at the moment was created very different than how it's on today. So the restrictions was that you need minimum 25% expended on troops, and then you can expend up to 50% on general. So here it was. So maximum 50% on characters, minimum 25% on troops, on heavy, on support 25%, and then on demons up to 25%. Okay, and then we have the great demons were not demons; they were characters indeed. So we have the Lord of Chaos, we have the Relic Bear, so was the Standard Bear. We have the Sorcerer, the Great Demons, and then we have the different. And then we have these are the troops, and instead of the troops, we have Terminators were considered troops. So we had a lot of things. So the only thing that were not troops, the division was heavy support in the moment, was Dreadnought and tanks. So but really anything that was squads was troops. So if you wanted, you can make all your army of the equivalent to the Devastators, right? Or all your army of motorcycles. So they were not really very hard limits. And then we had the demons. And here we have all the part of the demons, and then we had the special characters. And inside of that period, you were not allowed to put special characters without the permission of your opponent. But then we had, and what was curious is we had the cost of Abaddon, and then we have the cost of Abaddon including equipment. And it was very curious because you cannot take Abaddon without equipment. It was mandatory. So, but it's just to show you what was the cost of the equipment of Abaddon. It was quite interesting to know. So, but we had Abaddon. We have Khan the Betrayer, we had Fabius Willis, we have Uron Blackhair, but we did not have Midur until very late. So Uron Blackhair was always there, Ariman, always there. Okay, and then we have this is a big history about Ariman. Okay, and then what was funny is the vehicles were going in this type of cars. Okay, where you had all the information of the vehicle. It was quite complex how the vehicles were performing, and you see the range of the weapons. They had short, and it's very similar to what we have today in Shadow War Armageddon with short and long range, and then they can change a little bit. These were not affected by short or long range, but some were affected. So here we see again, we are again on color pages, and you see now a detail of the Predator with the conversion. Okay, but not too much range, and we have the Dreadnought, and we have the Rhino, and we have some of the templates that you have to use. This was a template for the how it's called, this the Sonic Blaster, I think it's called. Oh no, the Sirens. It was the Siren. It's called the Siren, Sonic Siren or something like that. So some of the Sonic weapons. And then we have here the cards if you want it for the equipment. So in that period the equipment was also put on cards. I never print them. I just was writing them down. We have here also the equipment for the character, but this is only Abaddon. So was the special Terminator for Abaddon. The special this is the Claw of Abaddon, and this is Drachian. So always the Abaddon have been always more or less the same. And then we have this is only for Fabius Billis, and then we have only for Ariman. Okay, and then at the end, this was very curious. Okay, this is the summary, so you can. Sorry, at the end we have something that was very curious. This is the Code of Chaos. This is another army inside another army book, and I never make use of that. But what you can have here is a different construction. So what you have. You see you have the Demagogue, and you have the Acolytes, and you have Beastmen. Okay, well, this is the Beastman Paladin, and then you have the Cultist, and then you have here different type. These are the Beastman Cultist. Okay, so this was quite special. Okay, so they were called the Demonic Legions, and was an appendix where you have this. The army for the Cult of Chaos, okay, and then we had the list for the Demonic Legions, and here is if you want to do a Demonic Legion, okay, and you have all the different. So and then we had different demonic gifts, and here we had then some demon princes. And these demon princes were crazy because they were stronger than even Abaddon. So these were really crazy demon princes. They never make miniatures, and they never go farther than that. I think they were showing some examples of demon princes. These demon princes were stronger than even the what you call this than the great demons. And then we had Cypher. So we have the fallen ones. And we have here Cypher, and that's all. I don't think we had. And it was funny because Cypher used to have a Citan knife. Okay, and then we have all the summaries. So this was a codex for second edition, and this codex was outdated, completely outdated, and they had to do the same that they are doing now for the change to 8th. They did the same for the change of 3rd. So they do the change to 3rd edition, and they release with 3rd edition a small book where all the armies were contained. And I don't have here now the book for the 3rd edition. But this was 2nd edition. I played a lot this codex, but then we went to 3rd edition, and then I want to show you what was the change. So this is 2nd, and this is 3rd edition. So we had a codex of 140 pages, and we just were collapsed in a codex of 50 pages, so 1/3 of the previous codex, more or less. Okay, and what we have in that codex, again, was also black and white mainly, with some color pages, but the main book was white, black and white. Okay, so we had. Sorry that is also in Spanish, so I don't have the version in English for this one. So there were no fluff almost. So you see, we start with the list of the army. We have the rules, how to summon, the demonic possession. So in that moment, in that codex, you were not able to deploy demons from the beginning. You had to summon them. Was not allowed to deploy the demons. And you see, we went to the structure that we know for a long time, that was very rigid in 3rd, 4th, and in 5th, where you have 2 HQs. I don't know if they put it here, because normally they copy. Yeah, the 2 HQs, 3 elites, 6 lines, 3 fast attacks, and 3 heavy supports. This is the typical that we had for a long time on 3rd edition. And as you can see, we start with the Lord of Chaos, and then we have the Skald, the Skald for the Lord of Chaos if you want, so that is the common squad, and you can put marks on them. So they were quite simple rules, very strict for a very streamlined at the period. They really make a big streamline from second to third edition. Was a very almost what we are living today with the change from eighth to from the seventh to eighth. So we see we have the demon prince was appearing here for first time, but just one demon prince per army. So you see limit 0 to 1. We also had the sorcerer. We had the great demons. Okay, and then we had as elites. We had the corn, the plague, the veterans, the terminators, thousand sons, and the possess. And as troops we had marines and we have demons, and we did not have demons for each type. So you see it's called demons horse, and then you can decide what type of demon you are. So if you are corn, Norgal is lineage of French, but they were not blood letters. So if you had blood letters, you have to use them as a horde of demons, and you put them. And there were only these two type of demons in the codex. So just the great demons, they keep their own profiles, and then we had the horde of demons. And then we have Norglets as well. We have the demon beasts, but demon beasts you see that is also the same. So this is you can use beast of corn or beast. So here is where you have the different, what's called these, the flesh hounds or the beast of Norgal or screamers were inside of that. Not too much detail. We had separately the juggernauts of corn. They had their own profile, but in that moment juggernauts of corn were not with blood letters on top, were just a juggernaut of corn alone. We have also the demonic cavalry. So what you can see was very generic, not going into what we have today. So I don't know why they made this stick back, where they had super detail on second edition to something much more generic. We had the Rapak, the Rapaxes for first time, and then we have here the typical noise marines were in heavy support at the beginning, were not elite choice. They were in heavy support. Was only the only cult unit that was heavy support. But if you had the Slaanesh on the Lord of Chaos, they were becoming troops. We had also the first time that they appeared here, how it's called is the Obliterators. First time that they appear. And then we have the Dreadnought of Chaos, the Predator, and the Land Rider. You can see Vindicator was not a tank yet for the Chaos Space Marines. And then we have the equipment, the explanation of the different equipments, and then we have the special characters. We had Abaddon, Ahriman. We have the one that have disappeared later. The I don't know how it's translated. Is maybe the Hell Motorist or the Hell the Infernal Motorbiker or something like that. We will see the miniature later on. We had Cypher. It has miniature. I don't know why it disappeared. It was a biker character for Slaanesh. We had Cypher, Khan the Betrayer, Farius Willis, and Ahriman. I guess was somewhere because Ahriman was there. Ahriman never disappeared really. But you could not use them unless you had the permission of your country, so of your opponent. So this was still very strict in that period of time. And then we had the chaos gifts and the psychic powers, and then they have some explanation about the different legions, and here we have how to build up your army, and they put some examples of the different miniatures that we have. Again, I don't know here we have, this was the metal Lord of Chaos with on Terminator, a very very old Demon Prince. As you can see, not too much on showcase at that period of time. And here we have this is the very old blood letter. These are the very old demonettes. So, but still they were the demonettes and the demons that you had at that period of time. Okay, and here we see the different legions, an example of the different legions and the legions with marks. Okay, so you can see, and then a little bit of advices on how to paint, but you realize there is no fluff here. Okay, and then we have the heavy metal, and you can you very easily see how heavy metal also have evolved. And these are this was really a nicer metal than this one. Other detail, square bases. They did not have big round bases in the period, and these guys did not have base at this period of time. They had only this is a base, homemade base for the different nodes. You see square bases for all the monstrous creatures. So I have some miniatures with square bases because there was not existing round bases at the period of time. Okay, this was quite interesting paint job. Some very weird conversions here. Very yeah, but you see again, and the base is quite simple most of the cases. But again, this what's called this Keeper of Secrets with a square base. This is also with a big base from Fantasy, but the miniature was coming without base, and you see they put the Juggernaut head there. So they were showing a lot of conversion. Was a moment that there were not too many miniatures for each army, and you have to find your way to do your own miniatures. So it was 3rd edition, but in 3rd edition we also had a second codex. This was one of the most controversial codex. This codex changed the meta, and just because one of the rules inside of the codex. So this was the 3rd edition codex. You see now you see that they are start showcasing bigger armies, but not what they showcase today. So you see that the armies are growing, but I'm pretty sure some people have bigger collections than that. Okay. So you see, but here the difference is they start again with some fluff. This book was a little bit thicker, was almost double than the previous one, 80 pages, not arriving to the detail of the 2nd edition book. Soft cover as well, as you can see, black and white most of the pages. So this is all about fluff, and more fluff. I don't have this in English. The special rules, how to summon demons, how this always had, we always had, this was when they start putting all the weapons here, when you have all the cost of the weapons here. Okay, for the different, and there was the mark of chaos absolute, so you also can have mark for absolute chaos. So you have the 4 gods plus absolute chaos. This mark have disappeared. No, I think this is the book that they use the most of all of them. So when they go how to make the army list, you can see that fluff was quite short, and we have the Lord of Chaos and Demon. So it's Lord of Chaos or Demon Prince, so there was not different profiles for them too. And all depends if you increase, there was some rule that depending how many points you dedicate to your, how many demon gift you give to your Lord of Chaos, is becoming a Demon Prince. But it was a shared profile, so there was not a profile for Demon Prince, but was so personalized. You were able to personalize really very strong this. There were a lot of options for. Although I think there was a limit of 100 points that you can spend on equipment, you were able to really personalize this guy. And we had the Great Demons with all the big rules, but at that moment of time, Great Demons were a pain to play with because you had to possess one of your characters to bring a demon. So you had to pay this guy plus the character that will summon the demon, and then you have to kill your own character and put the demon in place. So normally what you were doing is trying to have some veteran sergeants to be, or paladins, to be killed, and then put the great demon inside. If the paladin was killed before the great demon was summoned, then the great demon was appearing but was dying very fast, so was losing wounds per turn. So this is why the great demons were not very used. And then we have the Chosen. Now they changed from Bets to Chosen. This was the first time they changed the name. We have the Rhino here. This is when they moved this to dedicated transport. We have the Possess. The obliterators now change from heavy support to elite, I think. I don't know here. No, this is just explanation, so we have to go there. But we have the troops, and here they put also the berserkers, noise, plague, and 1,000 sons. So these are the explanation of the different units. Okay, so this was really the format that we were used for a long time with the explanation of the different units. And the points, yeah, the points were here. So the explanation and points together. It was been a long time. So no, we have it here. So these were the troops, and then we have here the cult. Sorry that and these were elite, because in the past they were putting the elite in front of the troops. So these are also troops. We see we have demon horse. We don't have dedicated demons. So very wicked and demoniac beasts. But we don't have anymore the juggernaut. Okay, the juggernaut have disappeared. And then as a heavy support, yeah, what's in this front? So this is fast attack. These are troops, and these were elites. So here it is. So obliterators were elite, and the cults, the cult units, you can see were not explained here. You see, the cult units were not explained here. So we don't have berserkers, we don't have noise marines, we don't have 1,000 sons, and we don't have Nurgle marines, and I will show you why. So this was a different structure of colors. Is the first time that the filer came with that codex, and then we had what was called the Books of Chaos, and then it's where we had the different legions, and this book is like including the traitor legions inside. This is the way we have the Alpha Legion and the rules how to use Alpha Legion, Iron Warriors, and the rules to use Iron Warriors, and they had as special equipment. So the Alpha Legion had the cultists and the ability to infiltrate. Each one had their own abilities. And when you have, we also have the Black Legion with Abaddon there. Okay. And then we went to the Book of Corn, and then the Book of Corn was giving you rules how to introduce berserkers inside. And we had the profile of Khan the Betrayer and the profile of the berserkers, if I'm not wrong, inside of this book. Yeah. And I lost this. Sorry. They were explaining how to include. Yeah, are not here, but they explain how to transform. So they were the berserkers, where you were giving the mark of corn, and then you were converting your troops into berserkers. Okay, so what you were doing is to converting your troops into berserkers by giving the mark of corn to them, and giving some. And here were all the rules that you were giving to your berserkers and all the limitations. And some of the limitations was that you cannot take heavy weapons; you only can take plasma pistols. Okay, so but you were able to convert all your army into berserkers, and then they're saying what type of units you can use. So not all units were useful, what you were able to use with the berserkers. So, and here was explained, so what units you can take from the front, and you were obliged to put the mark of corn on them. Okay, and then the same for Nurgle, and then they were explaining you as well what are all the limitations on how to adapt the list to use Nurgle. We have Typhus here, and then we have Slaanesh, and as well how to transform your army into Slaanesh. And the important thing here is that they put, and you see these are the sonic weapons, but then they put one of the psychic powers that was really broken and was making that, and some of this equipment here. So there was some powers that was making really Slaanesh very good. The Demon Prince of Slaanesh extremely strong. Then we have Thench. They were also explaining the rules for Thench. So it was quite a different approach of what we have today. Okay, they have rules for familiars and subjugated sorcerers. And then we have Ahriman. So the character, and you see that Urom Blackhair, I don't think he's here. So we have Ahriman. We have Lucius. Lucius appears for first time in this book. We have Typhus. We have Karn. Typhus was also new in this book. And then we have Abaddon. And yeah, and we have Fabius Bilis at the beginning. That's all. Uron Blackhair disappeared. So, and then we had the showcase. So you see here the showcase of the, so how to organize a little bit the army, and they show you how to some tactics, and then a little bit of showcase how to use demons. But you see that demons were not very well implemented here. The demons did not have Codex yet at that point in time. Okay, so you have here all the different legions, and then they start also, this is the first time they start showing alternative ways to paint legions, and these are fallen space marines. So this is a space wolf that have been fall into the chaos, and this is why he's over painting on the imperial symbols. And then we have this big diorama here, and a little bit of heavy metal, as you can see. But they have no Rome bases on all the bases. Abaddon, this was a new paint job for Abaddon, and the thing is when they start doing non-metallic metal on the miniatures as well. So this is still 3rd edition, and then we went to this one. This one was for, I need to check, this was for 4th edition. Okay, this is it's another codex they use a lot. 4th, because this was for 4th and 5th edition. This I bought it second hand when I moved to Brussels, because I had mine in Spanish. And this is no more what we are used today. Is 100 pages as well. Okay. And this was quite more too close to what we see today. So they have again fluff at the beginning. They start with the fluff. This is normally what we are expecting today. But the books start with wood fluff, the long war. We have also some of these very schematic paint jobs to see how to paint different chapters. They start showing how to paint and the different symbols. Here we see more. Okay, we have the forces of chaos, and this was not the army list yet. This is explaining how the different forces, what are the different forces of chaos, and how they interact. They have the possessed, so we had the explanation of each one. But this is just a fluff explanation, not really, and the rules. So they have the fluff, and then the rules. And this was a little bit of pain, because you will see that the spawn was appeared here for first time. It's the first time we saw the spawn. Demon Priest had his own entrance, and you see that the special rules are here. So you have to go each time back and forth to read the special rules. Chaos Rectors, Obliterators, Corn Berserkers, Thousand Sons, Plague Noise Marines, Chaos Dreadnought, Chaos Defiler, Rhino, Predator, and Vindicator was for first time here. And the Land Raider have been from the beginning. We have more fluff, and then we have also the characters: Abaddon, Karn, Ahriman, Fabiusville, Lucius Eternal, Typhus, and Uron Blackhair. And this is when they released the miniature of Uron Blackhair with that codex. Then they talk about a little bit of fluff, and then how to summon demons. We still have the demons inside, but we have greater demon and lesser demons. We don't have even a bloodthirster, or no, just greater lemons or lesser lemons, without rules almost. You see? But the summoning rules were also pain, so were not very used, to be fair. And then we have they start doing better paint jobs. Again, we are back to, we still have the all Abaddon that we always see. But you see, first time we see Uron Blackhair in miniature, Lucius, Typhus. So here we have all the characters we have today. And these are some conversions. They always encourage this Demon Prince I always like it a lot. These are conversions. So really they were, and these are the possessed that we have today in plastic. So a lot of the miniatures we know today, they start appearing here. These are the all Rapaxes on metal. Here we have the Noise Marines. We have also the plastic spawns. Okay, so more paint job. Just it's nice. I think it's fun to make a look on that. Okay, so how to organize an army? We still have the old structures, so they did not create the new structures here yet. They were not factions. They were only one structure for everybody, or one way to organize the army for everybody. All the details on the equipment, you see, still we have the same standard deployment. This was used by everybody the same. Okay. Then we have our own psychic powers, and I think that the period of time you have to pay for them. Here we have the values, see what they mean. So here you have the special rules, and then if you want to know what is marked ascendant, you have to go back and find Abaddon and read. So this was not very, I don't think this was very, but you have everything very concentrated. You have all the rules and how to personalize each one inside. So you have all the options are here, so you can take anything, and you see these are the different spells that you can take, and can take one of the following. So the spells were quite straightforward in the period. You just roll for your leadership, and if you pass, you are using the spell. So you're throwing the spell. Again, the chosen Chaos Terminators, Chaos Venom. I think, I don't know if the Obliterators in that moment, no, you see the Obliterators were sent back to heavy support. So Obliterators, they always been changing from, well, they've been changing from elite, from heavy support to elite, and now from elite back to heavy support again. We have here as troops. This was interesting. As the troops, we have the Chaos Space Marines, we have the Plague Marines, the Noise Marines, Corn Berserkers, and Thousand Swords. And then for the attacks, we have Bikers, Raptors. So according to Pax is what is called Raptors indeed. The Spawn, but this was not taken. If I'm not, you can include any units of spawns. Units of spawns don't use any. They are out of the organization chat. We have the Havocs, the Obliterators, Predators, Vindicators, Defiler, and Land Riders. So this is when we start having some more details. And then demons are just these demons. I think you can. I think your army can include a single greater demon. This model does not use any. So they were out of the organization for, but they're really out in that moment. Okay. You see, demons were really out of this codex. So they were kicking out the demons from this codex. And the reason why they were doing that is because then, after a while, it appears this codex, where we had the demons, and here was the first time we have a codex dedicated only to demons. Okay, I think this one edition later, I think it was 6th edition or 5th. Let me just checking, because I don't know all the dates of this, of course. This was 6th edition as well. Okay, so you see the demons were appearing for first time in 6th edition. Again, black and white. You can see most of black and white. We have all this fluff about the demons and about all the different chaos factions and blah blah blah, and the warp. I go fast here, so you can see. And then we have the demonic forces and all the rules. Demons were really a weird army at that period of time, because you have to keep half in reserve, you deploy half of your army, you don't know which half will appear, you roll random, you choose one, and then on 3+, the one that you like is what is appearing, but if you roll wrong, then you deploy the part that you don't want to appear. So it was really a very strange army to play at that period of time. But we had back, what was interesting is we have back the different units that we are used today. Okay, we had the pink horrors, the plague bearers, we have the demons, you can see the blood letters. We have all what we are used to see today. Okay, we have the flesh hounds, fiends of the Slaanesh. The horrors were not splitting at this period of time neither. They only split in 2nd edition from pink to blue. And yeah, and after 3rd they never split until we reach until they launched the Wrath of Magnus. I think was the one we see the first rules to split somewhere there. and the Brimful horrors were really new, so they never. I was not aware of them until late 7th edition. So here we have Beast of Naggles, Flamers, Block Crushers. First time they put this name here. They were called normally Juggernauts, Seekers, Narglings, Screamers. And it was when I really spanned my demons part in that moment. Soul Grinders. And then we have here the Demon Princes, the Furies, and Scarban. Kurgat, I don't think we see this anymore. The Fate Weaver, the Skull Taker, the Mask, Epidemus, the Blue Scraps. I think we know all them. All the Changeling, Karnak, and then we have here some showcase. Okay, where we see paint jobs from Games Workshop. Okay, different ways to paint them. Okay, the Flesh Hounds, the Block Crushers, it was the first time, and I really, not too many of them. Different ways to paint the Fiends of Slaanesh. The Soul Grinders, they appear for first time with this codex. And then we have the Demonic Gifts. And here we have all the different demonic gifts that you can give to the demons. And then we go to the army list and the points and how they work. Okay. So this was really the moment to use demons, and remember they were not allies, so you were playing demons or you were playing Chaos Space Marines. But you were not. What's funny here is that the Demon Prince were heavy support in that codex. So the HQs where you have to take one of the great demons. And the other thing that we have, the big change in 6th edition that creates a small revolution is that special characters are not anymore, you don't have to ask permission to your opponent, you can play them. They were part of the armies. But what I was planning, you see greater demons and special characters as HQs, heralds as HQ, a lot of HQs, different ones. Demon princes were moved to heavy support. Okay, and this was, and then we go to what I think we all know, 7th edition, and in 7th edition we have a lot of books. Right? We have these two, but we also have these two. I will not go in detail into 7th edition, this is a more recent one, but if we want to see just the structure is very similar to the previous one, where we have the fluff at the beginning, and then we have all this fluff. I will not go again into detail. The chronological thing, and then we have the different description of the different units, and here is where when we have for first time this random table, the Chaos Boon table. We have the marks have always been there, so it was not new. The Demon Princes were here, and then we had also the Warsmith for first time and the Dark Apostles for first time. And I think this was what, and then we have also the Mutilators for first time and the Cultists. Cultists were here, and Chaos Spawns, the Mutilators were first time here. Then we have, Mutilators never used, I don't know why. We had the Warp Talent for first time as well. Fortunes and Mauler Friends, so a lot of new units, the Helldrake, the pain of a lot of opponents. So this introduced a lot of new units. The Hellwoods were the Dreadnoughts, for me were not new units. Then we had Abaddon, Uron Blackhair, Karn, Ahriman, Typhus. I don't think they did introduce Lucius the Eternal, Fabius build. And then we go to the armory. So this is very similar to, and we should be familiar with this one. So this was the codex for, but here the big change is the first 7th is when they changed to full painted codexes, and they were releasing quite a good number of new units with each codex. Okay, this was really, and then we had also the demons. And the demons was a big change because we get out of the wacky rules that we had for demons, and not anymore you have to summon, but then you have the what was the Warstorm table, or how it's called, the table that where you have random things happening to you. That is another paint, but a different one. So, but again, this is very similar to the structure we have today. You see the quality really the quality of the books on 7th make a big jump. Yeah, there was a lot of criticisms on the illustrations for the demons. I think they were not bad. Well, very special. And this was the first time we had the Warstone table. I don't think this was adding a lot to the game. And then as a characters, I think we have Skarban, Karanak. They were divided by gods, right? I don't know even, we can go back because I don't remember. Kulgat was still there. I don't think it never had miniature. And then we start having more things for the Slaanesh, and they put the chariots and all the different things here in that book. Chariots were not existing before. So yeah, this was all the Lokis, and I really enjoyed playing this book. Then we have the showcase, still the metal miniatures, not the new ones. First time disappear. They start pushing the plastic. We have they were start pushing the plastic and really improving with the new plastic. These are the new plastic horrors and the plastic chariot. I think this was this is also plastic kit. So new nice kits, and they really pushed. This was a new canon, and I don't find the drones was also new here. So a lot of new stuff on this with these books. And here we have the characters were Skarban, Kairos, and Kugat, and then as a heralds, we had here the great demons, and as a herald we have a Skull Taker, Karanak. Karanak was moved from fast attack to HQ. The Changeling, Blue Scribes, Epidemus, and the Mask. Okay. And here we have, this was the new Codex. And because this was not enough, they make this thing in the middle that is not moving. This is not coming to, this will not move to 8th. That this was just, as you can see the quality was very good, but it was just a book to make a corn dedicated. And I think the release of this book was mainly to push these guys here, okay, the Greater Demons. It was the main new thing for this codex. All the other units were exactly the same as in the other codex with the marks. And here is when they start also pushing. End of 7 is when we start seeing the formations and the detachments. And this was not at the beginning of 7, so this was at the beginning of, no, sorry, these codex were from 6th edition. This is why they don't have formations and they don't have this were from the previous edition. These codex are from is from 7th, and this is why we start having the formations at the back, because 6 was very short, and they changed to 7th very fast. And finally, this was the book that I did not use. To be fair, is just this was what we used to have on the 2nd edition, but more detailed, where we have the rules for the different traitor legions. Soft cover, a lot of fluff, but I think I want to show you. So we move chaos in 7th. We move from that. Okay, so this is what we have on 7. Okay, just to make you an idea, this is what we had in 3rd, and this is why. And the same evolution have been happened with a lot of the General races. So, and a lot of Imperium is another one example. So we went from codexes, very simple, very streamlined, to these super big books. And I think this is the reason they had to launch 8th edition. As you see here, was a really big change on complexity. And I think they went too far in complexity, and I think this is why they need to relaunch to 8th edition, to launch to the new Warhammer. And this is what I want to do. Maybe a long video, maybe too long, but I really enjoy, and I really wanted to share with you who was the evolution of chaos on Warhammer 40k. Now, if you want to see more and you like to see more of these videos, please leave in the comment below. Let me know if you like it, and I will really enjoy to show you more of the old history of Chaos. I still love this book. This is one of my inspirations. So second edition book, sorry that I'm trembling the camera. Second edition book is one of my inspirations. This is is a book I use as inspiration a lot of time because I really like. Although it's on black and white, I go a lot on these pages to see because they was quite fun. And as I start collecting Chaos on this period of time, I keep a lot of the things that we have. A lot of the I want to say I keep a lot of the way of painting of this period on this army. Other armies I go more to the new times, but I want to keep my old looking for some of the units of Chaos. That's all for now. Please let me know what do you think. If you like these videos, please leave in the comments below that you like it. Give a like and I will do more of this if you like it. That's all for now. Thanks a lot for watching and see you again later. Bye.